All right, guys, this might be one of the most important videos I do. You need to get masks and gloves. And obviously, if there's a shortage and doctors and nurses need it instead, that is a higher priority and be mindful of that. We're going to try to walk the line here between not panicking, but being really careful. Because now the top scientists in the world are saying that coronavirus can be spread through just talking to someone or even breathing in the same room. So I was worried that this was the case based on some earlier evidence, but now more folks have weighed in, and let me tell you who they are. And they've told the White House this. So it's the National Academy of Sciences Standing Committees on Emerging Infectious Diseases and 21st Century Health Threats. So there's a mouthful in terms of what the Committee of Scientists are, but the bottom line is it's a committee of scientists on infectious diseases. That this is their top, these are some of the top experts in the world. So, in a letter to the White House, Dr. Harvey Feinberg, who chairs that committee, warned that this is not like other illnesses, for example, the flu. So, the way that the flu spreads is droplets. It's already dangerous, it's already contagious. So, for example, if someone sneezes, a droplet comes out of their mouth. A droplet doesn't mean a giant chunk, it's a tiny, tiny droplet. But if it lands on someone, especially in their mouth, nose, etc., that is how the flu gets spread. There's other ways, but that's a very rough and quick explanation of it. In the case of coronavirus, it's not droplets, it's what's called bioaerosols or just aerosols. Those are much, much smaller. So again, this is a rough explanation. Please read the scientists and the doctors for yourselves. And anyone you hear talking about coronavirus is not an expert on it, take it with a grain of salt, including me, okay? But I'm telling you what I am reading from the scientists in the latest legitimate news articles, okay? So I'm going to give you a startling example in a second. But I was already telling folks this quadruples down on it. Do not go outside into enclosed spaces. Open air is fine, because the aerosols disperse. Even that, the doctors are hedging a little bit. But I go jogging outside, so I'm not overly concerned about that. But again, be as concerned and as careful as you could possibly be. Err on the side of caution, err on the side of going more cautious than me or anyone else you hear without panicking. Okay, now, but in terms of what they're saying today, I knew earlier, and I told you guys in earlier videos, it stays on surfaces for 2 to 3 days, especially steel and plastic. So that's a giant amount of time for it to stay on a surface. Other viruses stay on surface for a couple of hours. This stays much longer. So that's why it's easier to transmit in that way. That's why you should wear gloves. And we knew this a long, long time ago. You saw it in our videos. On the live show, we're going to talk about how the governor of Georgia apparently did not know this. But people oftentimes don't show symptoms for a long period of time, 7 days, 10 days, 4 to 5 days is very normal. But they're spreading the germs and the virus way before they show symptoms. So that's the second reason why it's so contagious. It stays on surfaces longer. People are not symptomatic, but while they're spreading the virus. The third reason, and what they're doubling down on today, is it's in the air. And it stays in the air in a room for 2 to 3 hours. And it's in aerosol form, so it's tiny. And so you don't need someone sneezing right next to you. You don't need someone coughing next to you. It could be just as simple as talking or breathing in the same room. So if you're going to your local grocery store, you're going to work, if you got access to a mask, and again, without panicking, without taking the mass of people who need it more, you got to wear a mask. You got to wear gloves. You're crazy not to. So let me give you the stark example. And there are many of these. There's this 28 kids in spring break in Texas, and etc. But there was bodily contact there, okay? But this is a perfectly good example of what could happen in a room. On March 10th in Seattle, there's a choir. Now, remember back to what you knew on March 10th. So they know coronavirus exists. They know that it's starting to spread in the US. So they're careful. They get together and they sing for about 2.5 hours, but they make sure not to touch each other. So they have no bodily contact. There's about 60 of them. Okay, so that's on March 10th. Today, dozens of them have coronavirus from that room, and 2 have already died. It's in the air. Okay, so again, please, for God's sake, don't panic. It's not like you can't step outside. It's in the air and you're going to get it. It's not a science fiction movie. On the other hand, you go into any kind of office area, you go into work, you go in to get groceries, and the smaller the room, the more contained. My guess is, this is, I'm layman interpreting the science. Again, read it for yourself. But they're certainly saying it. In enclosed spaces, it lasts for a long time. It's very easy to transmit and transmit as easily as breathing in the same room. Guys, why do you think so many people are getting it? Right now, we just passed a barrier. 1 million people across the world have it now. 51,000 have died. And this is piling up. They're now closing different countries. We'll have more of it on the live show. Live shows at 6 o'clock Eastern, so you're going to see it in a little bit. Okay, Anna and I will give you details on many things. Here's another thing that we're going to give you details on. Trump in February shipped off 18 tons, 2 million, including 2 million medical masks over to China. Look, under normal circumstances, if one country is having a medical emergency, it's wonderful to help them. And I'm proud of America for doing that. And Pence just stopped that aid because we were sending it to Thailand, Vietnam, other places. I love it when we help other countries. But right now, we have a massive shortage in America. So if ever there was a time to say America first, this is it. Because we got people, we have the most amount of cases in the world. So we're literally, and the way that it went down is we called Thailand. We're like, oh, how can you help us? Because Russia's sending over supplies to America. Turkey's sending supplies to Italy and Spain. Whichever countries have less of the disease is sending it to countries that have more. This is wonderful. Cuba sent mass over to France. So the world helping each other is awesome. I love it. It's perfect. But we need it the most. Usually other folks need it the most. Haiti, when they have an earthquake, we got to go help them. You got tsunamis across parts of the world, we got to go help them, okay? And that's the goodwill that we should accrue as America. That's the core and heart and soul of America. But in February, when you ship away our mask and medical equipment, it's because you did not understand things that scientists were telling you. They were telling you it's already here. Forget about coming here. It's already here. It's going to spread like wildfire. And you saw it in my videos before. That's why I keep saying in this video, doubling down and quadrupling down on what I've said earlier many times. It's in the air. It's in the air. So you need masks. I went grocery shopping, I don't know, 3-4 days ago. Like 10% of the people have masks on. Everybody else is walking around without masks. Guys, and last thing, I got a lot more about this in the live show. And please, the way that we can do these broadcasts, whether it's a live video like I'm doing right now, or broadcast out when we do the live show at 6 o'clock, is through your help. We got to keep TYT healthy too. TYT.com/go makes a giant difference. And anytime you become a member or use YouTube Super Chat, that also helps. There's a join button down below on YouTube. All right, and TYT.com/join to become a member on our website. All right, guys. So last thing is, again, we've got to plan better, okay? Now we also have record gun sales. Don't buy guns, buy masks. Don't be an idiot. You don't need to start shooting each other. That's not the kind of panic we need. But we do need a president who can plan, which God help us, because he could not plan his way out of a wet paper bag. I cannot imagine a worse time to have a president this incompetent. It will cost so many more lives. By the way, the economic impact is going to be way worse because this thing's going to ricochet around. So I can't believe again, more in the live show, but Texas just did a shelter in place. Florida did it yesterday. What the hell are you guys doing? No, the whole country, Dr. Fauci said it today. Of course, the whole country should be shut down. You got to shelter in place. You got to stay at home. And if you go out, you got to have a mask. We need those masks right now. We need those gloves right now in America. Most importantly, I cannot believe any doctor or nurse is going out there without a mask, and some of them are, and they're being forced to. I saw a headline just a second ago saying that they're going to force medical workers that have coronavirus to go back to work. Are you insane? Then they're going to spread it to everybody in the hospital. Are you insane? No, none of these things are negotiable. Every nurse, every doctor has to have all the masks that they need. This is America, and this is the most infectious disease we've ever seen. And we got doctors and nurses without masks. Look, in several different articles, don't take this as a fact in terms of the exact percentage. You can look it up for yourself. But in articles that I have read, I see oftentimes the number is 10%. 10% of the doctors and nurses are getting sick, even though they are taking as many precautions as they can possibly take. They're taking 10% getting coronavirus. These are unbelievable heroes. To send those heroes in without masks is unconscionable. But honestly, guys, we all need masks. So if you think you can't get it, you're totally wrong. Why do you think Chris Cuomo got it? They take tremendous precautions at CNN. He's famous, he's wealthy. CNN is cleaning the set 24/7 all day, all night with the best equipment they have because they have billions of dollars, and he still got sick. It's all right. I don't want to panic, people. Do not buy guns, buy masks and gloves. And yes, Donald Trump, it is your responsibility as the leader of the country. He keeps saying, the governors, let the governors do it. I don't know what I'm. No. You're the president of the United States. You hold things like our emergency reserves. You have more power, you have more money, you have more resources, you have more staff, and you're supposed to coordinate. You're not supposed to go, I don't know, let Alabama do whatever they want. No, take charge, but not in the stupid way where you're trying to get political favors and seeing, oh, did they thank me enough? No, for God's sake, people's lives are on the line. Over 1 million cases across the world already, and we're leading in the most cases here in America. They got body bags lined up outside of a hospital in Queens, and we're starting to get to a point where we're running out of hospital space. This is nuts. Get the masks and wear them. Please stay safe.